scandal, heartbreak, and breathtaking beauty. The golden age of Hollywood had it all. The golden age of old Hollywood was filled with actresses who redefined beauty and talent, captivating audiences worldwide. From screen sirens to elegant leading ladies, these divas set the standard for glamour, leaving a lasting impact on Hollywood and beyond. But behind the glamour, their lives were filled with challenges, passion, and unforgettable moments. Let us take a look at the legendary women who captivated the world and made our fathers mad with admiration. Rita Hayworth. Rita Hayworth was one of the most beautiful actresses in Hollywood. She was famous in the 1930s and 1940s. At first, she trained as a dancer. Later, she became a big movie star. She became famous after acting in The Strawberry Blonde in 1941. Her most popular film was Gilda in 1946. She was born in 1918 as Margarita Carmen Cancino. Her father was a dancer, and her mother was a showgirl. She changed her last name to Hayworth to help her career. People loved her beauty and charm. She was called the Great American Love Goddess. During World War II, soldiers kept her pictures as pin-ups. She had many marriages, but none lasted. In her later years, she had serious health problems. She suffered from Alzheimer's disease and passed away in 1987. Olivia de Havilland. She became a star with her role as Melanie in Gone with the Wind. Her beauty and elegance made her unforgettable. She was not just a pretty face, but also a strong actress. She won 2 Academy Awards for To Each His Own and The Heiress. She often played gentle and kind characters, but in real life, she was very determined. During her career, she fought against powerful movie studios. In those days, studios controlled actors and forced them into unfair contracts. She took them to court and won. This changed Hollywood and gave actors more freedom. She also had a famous on-screen partnership with Errol Flynn, which led to romance rumors. Olivia worked in many classic films, including The Adventures of Robin Hood and The Snake Pit. Later, she moved to Paris and lived there for decades. She passed away at 104, one of the last stars from the golden age of Hollywood. Hedy Lamarr. Hedy Lamarr was more than just a pretty face. She was a brilliant inventor and a Hollywood icon. Known as one of the most beautiful actresses of the golden age, she starred in classics like Algiers, Samson and Delilah, Boomtown, and White Cargo. Her beauty and talent made her one of the biggest stars of her time. But beyond Hollywood, Hedy had a sharp mind. During World War II, she co-invented frequency hopping technology to prevent enemy forces from jamming torpedoes. This invention later became the foundation for Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and GPS. Despite her major contribution, the U.S. Navy dismissed her work, telling her she would be more useful selling war bonds. Her personal life was full of ups and downs, 6 marriages, financial struggles, and a reclusive later life. She passed away in 2000 at the age of 85. Jean Harlow. Gone too soon at the age of 26 due to kidney disease, Jean Harlow remains one of the greatest stars of Hollywood. Her beauty, charm, and bright smile made her unforgettable. With her platinum blonde hair and playful personality, she became a symbol of glamour in the 1930s. She was born as Harlean Carpenter in 1911. Her family was wealthy, but she wanted more. Her mother dreamed of Hollywood fame, and Harlean followed that dream. She changed her name to Jean Harlow and started acting. At first, she had small roles, but she got noticed in Hell's Angels. Critics did not like her acting, but audiences loved her beauty and energy. She became a top star with movies like Red-Headed Woman and Red Dust. Many adored her, but her life had struggles and scandals. Loretta Young. She had a way of bringing sophistication to every role she played. When her film career slowed down, she found success again as the star of a popular television anthology series. Born as Gretchen Michaela Young in Salt Lake City on January 6, 1913, she started acting at a young age. She appeared in silent films when she was just 3 years old. However, she stepped away from movies for a while to focus on her education. After graduating, she returned to Hollywood and quickly became a leading lady. During the 1930s, she took on various roles, proving her talent in both dramas and comedies. When silent films transitioned to talkies, She adapted with ease. She starred in House of Rothschild, The Crusades, and The Stranger, among many others. Her biggest achievement came in 1947 when she won the Academy Award for The Farmer's Daughter. In the 1950s, she became a television icon with The Loretta Young Show. Ginger Rogers. She was not just a dancer next to Fred Astaire, she was an actress who won an Academy Award. While the world admired her elegance on the dance floor, she proved she could shine in dramatic roles too. Her performance in Kitty Foyle in 1940 earned her an Oscar, showing everyone she was more than just a musical star. Born in 1911 as Virginia Catherine McMath, she found her love for performing early. A dance contest set her on a path to fame, leading her to Broadway and then Hollywood. By the early 1930s, she was starring in hit films like 42nd Street and Gold Diggers of 1933. But everything changed when she was paired with Fred Astaire in Flying Down to Rio. Their chemistry was magic, and together, they redefined dance in cinema. Even after musicals faded, she stayed relevant in Hollywood, proving her versatility in comedy and drama. She later returned to Broadway, keeping audiences entertained for decades. Constance Bennett. Born into a family of actors, Constance Bennett was destined for a life in the spotlight. She was the daughter of actor Richard Bennett and actress Adrienne Morrison. Her sisters, Joan Bennett and Barbara Bennett, also found success in entertainment. Before stepping into Hollywood, she spent time in a convent, but soon followed the path of her famous parents. She began acting in silent films in New York and eventually caught the attention of Samuel Goldwyn, who helped her land a role in Cytherea 1924. Just as her career was gaining momentum, she stepped away from acting to marry Philip Plant in 1925. After her divorce, she returned to Hollywood at the perfect time. The film industry was transitioning to sound, and her beauty, charm, and elegant fashion sense made her an instant star. She quickly became one of the highest-paid actresses of the 1930s. Her signature style and confident attitude set her apart from others. Joan Blondell. Joan Blondell grew up in the world of vaudeville, learning to adapt, entertain, and work hard. From an early age, she knew how to perform, follow instructions, and support those around her. She mastered the art of smiling on command, and always put the job first. However, she never learned how to appreciate herself, which cost her personal happiness. Her Hollywood career took off when she arrived at Warner Brothers. She and James Cagney both made their film debuts in Sinner's Holiday. But while Cagney quickly rose to leading roles, Blondell was often cast as a supporting player. She worked tirelessly, appearing in pre-code classics like Blonde Crazy, Three on a Match, and Night Nurse. She became a key part of the success of studio, yet she was never fully appreciated. Her personal life was just as turbulent. She longed for stability, but her relationships were often troubled. She married 3 times, but each husband brought new struggles, from control issues to financial problems. Despite this, she kept working, appearing in films, theater, and television. Even in her later years, she never stopped. She worked until her final days, passing away at 73 after battling leukemia. Paulette Goddard, wife of Charlie Chaplin. Paulette Goddard was one of the most stunning and charismatic actresses of Golden Age. She was not only beautiful, but also independent, smart, and full of charm. Her confidence and talent helped her stand out in an industry filled with stars. She shined alongside Chaplin in Modern Times 1936 and The Great Dictator 1940, proving she could match his energy and wit on screen. While her connection to Chaplin brought attention, she built her career on her own and appeared in more than 40 films. Her roles in The Women 1939 and So Proudly We Hail 1943 cemented her status as a top actress. Before Hollywood, she worked as a model and performed on Broadway as a Ziegfeld girl. She was even considered for the role of Scarlett O'Hara in Gone with the Wind 1939, but lost it to Vivien Leigh. Still, she remained one of the most admired women of her time. Anita Page. Wife of retired Admiral Herschel A. House, Anita Page was one of the most stunning actresses of early Hollywood. She had a captivating presence and a beauty that made audiences fall in love with her. Her career began in silent films, and she quickly became one of the most popular stars of that era. Her big break came when she starred in Our Dancing Daughters 1928 with Joan Crawford. This role made her a sensation, and she received more fan mail than almost any other actress, except Greta Garbo. When Hollywood switched to sound films, her popularity remained strong. She starred in the Broadway Melody 1929, which won the Academy Award for Best Picture. The song You Were Meant for Me was written for her and became one of the most famous songs of the time. However, at the height of her fame, she shocked fans by retiring in 1933 after starring in more than 30 films. She lived a quiet life in California for decades, but remained beloved by classic film fans. Marilyn Monroe. Another beautiful actress who left the world too soon was Marilyn Monroe. She passed away in 1962 at only 36 years old. Her death shocked the world, and many still wonder what really happened. Officially, it was ruled as a drug overdose, but rumors of something more mysterious continue to this day. Born as Norma Jean Baker in 1926, her early life was full of struggles. She never knew her father, and her mother had mental health problems, so she spent years in foster homes. At 16, she married to avoid being placed in another orphanage. Her journey to fame began when a photographer noticed her while she was working in a factory. This led to a modeling career and then acting. She dyed her hair blonde, changed her name, and soon became one of the most famous women in Hollywood. With films like Some Like It Hot and Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, she became a global star. Despite her success, Monroe had a troubled personal life. She was married 3 times and had relationships with famous men, including Joe DiMaggio and Arthur Miller. Katharine Hepburn. Katharine Hepburn was a bold and confident actress who stood out in Hollywood for her strong personality and unique charm. She starred in many classic films, including The African Queen, Guess Who Is Coming to Dinner, and On Golden Pond. With her striking looks, quick wit, and independent spirit, she became one of the most admired actresses of her time. Born in Hartford, Connecticut, on May 12, 1907, she grew up in a family that encouraged open thinking and strong opinions. She fell in love with acting while studying at Bryn Mawr College and soon found her way to Broadway. Her talent caught the attention of Hollywood, leading to her film debut in 1932 with A Bill of Divorcement. Though she faced setbacks and was once labeled as box office poison, she proved critics wrong by making a strong comeback with The Philadelphia Story. She later formed a legendary on-screen and off-screen partnership with Spencer Tracy, and her performances earned her a record-breaking 4 Academy Awards. Rhonda Fleming. Her dazzling red hair and green eyes made her a natural fit for Technicolor films, earning her the title of the Queen of Technicolor. However, it was not just her beauty that captivated audiences. Her acting talent and ability to move effortlessly between different genres made her a true Hollywood star. She appeared in some of the most memorable films of her time, including Out of the Past and Spellbound. Whether she was playing a femme fatale in a noir classic or starring in a romantic adventure, she brought charm and elegance to every role. Her collaborations with Ronald Reagan in multiple films added another dimension to her career, showing her versatility. Beyond acting, she had a passion for helping others. She established a clinic for women healthcare, showing her dedication to important causes. Her impact went beyond Hollywood, making her a respected figure both on and off the screen. She was honored with a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, a lasting tribute to her contributions. Anna May Wong. She was the first Chinese-American film star, making history with over 60 films. Her beauty and talent made her unforgettable on screen. Born in 1905 in Los Angeles, she grew up in a family that ran a laundry business. She spent her childhood watching movies and dreaming of being on the big screen. By age 9, she had already made up her mind to become a movie star. At 17, she got a major role in The Toll of the Sea, one of the first Technicolor films. Despite her talent, Hollywood often gave her only supporting roles. Facing discrimination, she moved to Europe, where she found success in films and theater. In the 1930s, she returned to the United States and continued acting. She later became the first Asian American to lead a U.S. television show. Her beauty and strong presence set her apart in Hollywood. She passed away in 1961, but her influence remains strong even today. Ruby Dee. Ruby Dee was more than a great actress. She was also a writer, activist, and poet. She was born in Ohio in 1922 and grew up in Harlem, New York. She started acting when she was young and trained at the American Negro Theater. In 1946, she got her big break in the Broadway play Anna Lucasta. That same year, she met actor Ossie Davis. They got married 2 years later and became a famous couple in Hollywood and the civil rights movement. She became well known after starring in the Jackie Robinson Story, 1950. Later, she played a powerful role in A Raisin in the Sun, 1961, with Sidney Poitier. She and her husband fought for racial equality and worked with leaders like Malcolm X and Martin Luther King Jr. In later years, she starred in Do the Right Thing, 1989, and American Gangster, 2007, which earned her an Oscar nomination. She kept acting into her 90s. She passed away in 2014, but her legacy as a talented actress and activist lives on. Lucille Ball. When Lucille Ball walked onto a TV set, magic happened. She was not just an actress, she was a comedy genius who changed television forever. Her show I Love Lucy was not only the most popular of its time, but also shaped the way sitcoms are made even today. With perfect timing and hilarious expressions, she made millions laugh every week. Born in 1911 in Jamestown, New York, her early life was full of struggles. Her father died when she was only 3, and her family had little money. She wanted to be an actress, but drama school teachers did not believe in her. That did not stop her. She worked as a model before heading to Hollywood, where she started acting in small movie roles. Her big break came when she met Desi Arnaz. They married and later created I Love Lucy, which became a massive hit. She was a perfectionist, rehearsing every scene until it was just right. After the show, she became the first woman to run a major television studio. Norma Shearer. She won a beauty contest when she was 14. In 1920, her mother, Edith Shearer, took Norma and her sister Ethel to New York. She hoped they could find success in the entertainment industry. Ziegfeld rejected her for his follies, saying she was too short, had thick legs, crooked teeth, and an eye that wandered. Despite these setbacks, she refused to give up. A doctor corrected her eye issue, and with persistence, she built her way to the top. Shearer was born in 1902 in Montreal. Her family lost their wealth after World War I, and her mother decided to move to New York. Shearer started with small roles in movies and worked as a model to support herself. In 1923, she caught the attention of Louis B. Mayer and earned a 6-month contract. Shearer moved to Los Angeles and began getting cast in minor roles. She wanted bigger opportunities, so she approached Irving Thalberg, a young executive at MGM. He saw her potential and gave her a chance. They later married, and he helped shape her career. Shearer starred in successful films and won an Academy Award in 1930. After Thalberg passed away, she continued acting before retiring in 1942. She lived a quiet life until her passing in 1983. Ethel Waters. The child of a teenage rape victim, Ethel Waters was born on October 31, 1896, in Chester, Pennsylvania. Her mother, only 13 years old at the time, was unable to provide a stable home. As a child, Ethel moved between different homes in Philadelphia and nearby cities, never staying in one place for long. She once said that no one truly raised her, and she simply learned to survive on her own. Despite these struggles, her natural talent for singing and dancing shone through. She began performing at church gatherings, where people quickly noticed her powerful voice. Ethel possessed a striking presence, with deep brown skin that radiated elegance and confidence. Her beauty stood out in an era when Hollywood and the entertainment industry rarely celebrated dark-skinned women. She carried herself with grace and refused to let society define her worth. At 17, while out celebrating her birthday, she was encouraged to sing at a nightclub. The performance led to her first professional job, Soon she became a star in black vaudeville circuits before making her way to Harlem. Gloria Swanson. Gloria Swanson ruled Hollywood in the silent film era, and even when talking pictures took over, she remained a significant figure. Her iconic role in Sunset Boulevard brought her back into the spotlight in 1950. However, beyond the cameras, she had a sharp mind and a deep curiosity about science and technology. During the 1930s, when her acting career slowed down, she turned to new ventures. She was fascinated by inventions and even held patents. Swanson was known for reading popular mechanics and always thinking of ways to create something new. In 1939, she started a company called Multiprizes. This company aimed to help inventors bring their ideas to life. She also helped rescue Jewish scientists from Nazi-controlled Europe, giving them opportunities to work safely in the United States. Her company contributed to innovations such as plastic buttons and early developments in speech-to-text technology. Though Multiprizes eventually closed, Swanson never stopped exploring new ideas. She believed in using her wealth for meaningful purposes. Elizabeth Taylor. Elizabeth Rosamond Taylor was seen as one of the last big stars to come from the old Hollywood studio system. She was known all over the world for her beauty, especially her rare violet eyes, which amazed audiences when she was young and kept people fascinated for years. Taylor started acting as a child and became famous after her role in National Velvet in 1944. As she grew older, she took on more serious roles, proving that she had real acting talent. Some of her most well-known films include Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, Cleopatra, and Who is Afraid of Virginia Woolf, for which she won 2 Academy Awards. Her personal life was just as talked about as her career. She married 8 times, including twice to Richard Burton. Their fiery relationship was followed closely by the media. Taylor also loved expensive jewelry and owned some of the most famous diamonds in the world. In her later years, she focused on charity work, especially in the fight against HIV/AIDS. She remained a Hollywood icon until her death in 2011. Marlene Dietrich. Her father was a police lieutenant and instilled in her a strict and disciplined mindset. Marlene was known in school for her captivating eyes, which many found irresistible. During this time, she had her first romantic experiences, and one of them led to a scandal that resulted in a professor losing his job. In the 1920s, she became part of Germany's cabaret scene, first as a spectator and later as a performer. Her breakthrough came in 1930 with The Blue Angel, where she played a nightclub singer. The film turned her into a star, and soon, Hollywood welcomed her with open arms. She worked with famous director Joseph von Sternberg on several films, including Morocco and Shanghai Express. Her deep voice, striking beauty, and androgynous fashion made her stand out. During World War II, she took a strong stance against the Nazi regime, performing for Allied troops and becoming a U.S. citizen. As Hollywood roles declined, she transitioned to a successful singing career. She continued performing worldwide until she retired in the 1970s and spent her final years in Paris, where she passed away in 1992. Deborah Kerr. Unlike many of her peers, she did not fade into minor roles or soap operas, but maintained a dignified career. She worked steadily, often starring alongside legends like Cary Grant, Robert Mitchum, and David Niven. Her career spanned decades, and she rarely delivered anything less than an outstanding performance. Born in Scotland, she initially trained in ballet before moving into acting. Her breakthrough came early with Major Barbara in 1941, and she quickly established herself as a leading lady. One of her most unforgettable roles was in Black Narcissus, where she played a conflicted nun. She later became widely known for her performance in From Here to Eternity, particularly for the iconic beach scene with Burt Lancaster. She played a variety of characters, from the romantic lead in An Affair to Remember to the charming governess in The King and I. Even in her later years, she brought grace to every role. Though she was nominated for 6 Academy Awards, she only won an honorary Oscar in 1994. Judy Garland. Her charm, warmth, and powerful singing voice made her a favorite among audiences. Despite her success, Her life was filled with struggles that started at a young age. She was born as Frances Ethel Gumm on June 10, 1922, in Grand Rapids, Minnesota. Her early years were shaped by a troubled family life. Her mother, Ethel, was determined to make her a star and pushed her into show business. By the time she was 2, she was already performing on stage with her older sisters. Her father, Frank, had scandals that forced the family to move to California, but that did not save their marriage. MGM signed her in 1935, but her time at the studio was difficult. She was constantly criticized for her looks and weight. The studio put her on a strict diet of chicken broth and cottage cheese and gave her pills to keep her energy up during long filming hours. Her mother also fed her pills from a young age. These pressures led to a lifetime of struggles with addiction. Though she remained a brilliant performer, her personal life was troubled. She passed away in 1969 from an accidental overdose. Rosalind Russell. Rosalind Russell was a talented actress with charm and a strong presence. She spent over 40 years bringing memorable characters to life on stage and screen. She won 5 Golden Globe Awards, a Tony Award, and in 1973 she received a Humanitarian Award from the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences. Russell was born in 1907 in Waterbury, Connecticut, into a wealthy and educated family. Her father worked as a trial lawyer while her mother was a fashion editor. She was one of 7 siblings and was named after a steamship her parents once traveled on. She studied at an academy in her hometown before attending a college in New York. She later convinced her mother to let her enroll in an acting academy, pretending she wanted to teach theater, though her real goal was to become an actress. In 1934, Russell moved to Hollywood. After a brief Broadway career, she signed a contract with Universal Studios, but soon secured a better offer from MGM. She gained attention for her performance in West Point of the Air 1935 and became well known for The Women 1939. Her biggest success came in 1940 with His Girl Friday, where she played a bold reporter, Deanna Durbin. The girl who later be called Winnipeg's sweetheart was born as Edna Mae Durbin on December 4, 1921, at Grace Hospital. During her early years, there was nothing to suggest she would one day become a bigger box office draw than Shirley Temple. When she entered show business, she was given the name Deanna Durbin. By the age of 21, she had become the highest-paid female star in the world. She gained fame through films like 3 Smart Girls in 1936, Mad About Music in 1938, and That Certain Age in 1938. By the time she turned 18, her yearly earnings reached $250,000. Her voice was often described as both natural and beautiful, with her version of One Fine Day from Madame Butterfly becoming a classic. Hollywood embraced her completely. There were dolls and dresses inspired by her, and even an engineering firm named a dream home in her honor. Despite her fame, she never enjoyed the attention. At the peak of her career, she walked away from Hollywood. Her third husband, director Charles David, agreed to her one request, which was to live away from the spotlight. She spent her remaining years in France, refusing every offer to return to film. That was just a glimpse of the timeless beauty and unforgettable talent of the golden age of Hollywood. Which diva was your favorite? Let us know in the comments, and do not forget to subscribe for more.